صلى على محمد وآل محمد. We'd like to congratulate all of us in this specious occasion, the Wiladat of Prophet Muhammad. For that, I would like to hear 3 loud salawat. Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين. وهذا البلد الأمين. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون. فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة تسبق الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
माशाअल्लाह। प्रोग्राम की नौयत कुछ इस तरह से है कि उर्दू का प्रोग्राम 8 बजे तक होगा और 8 के बाद मौलाना साहब को मौलाना है इनकी तकरीरें होंगी। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि 8 बजे तक जो उर्दू के पढ़ने वाले हैं वो इस प्रोग्राम को ख़त्म कर दें। और मैं दरख्वास्त करता हूँ बहुत जल्दी से मुनीब से कि वो तशरीफ़ लाएँ और 2 या 3 मिनट के लिए मुनीब।
मोहम्मद वाल मोहम्मद जुबां पे पहले दुरूदो सलाम आता है। जुबां पे पहले दुरूदो सलाम आता है। फिर उसके बाद मोहम्मद का नाम आता है। फिर उसके बाद मोहम्मद का नाम आता है। जुबां पे पहले हुई है खल्क मोहब्बत में जिसकी ये दुनिया। हुई है खल्क मोहब्बत में जिसकी ये दुनिया। खुशी मनाओ वो वाली مقام آتا ہے، خوشی مناؤ وہ عالی مقام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے درود و سلام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے بیان میرا نہیں ہے، یہ ہر بشر کا ہے، بیان میرا نہیں ہے، یہ ہر بشر کا ہے، نبی کا ذکر ہی مشکل میں کام آتا ہے، نبی کا ذکر ہی مشکل میں کام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے درود و سلام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے حضور آپ کے قدموں کی حاضری مطلوب، حضور آپ کے قدموں کی حاضری مطلوب ہے، منتظر کہ ہمیں کب پیام آتا ہے منتظر کہ ہمیں کب پیام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے درود و سلام آتا ہے، پھر اس کے بعد محمد کا نام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے درود و سلام آتا ہے، پھر اس کے بعد محمد کا نام آتا ہے، زباں پہ پہلے محمد وال محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔
ماشاءاللہ یہ تھے منیب۔ اب میں درخواست کرتا ہوں اسد سے، ہمارے سنڈے اسکول کے اسٹوڈنٹ ہیں، اسد ایک نعت کے لیے۔
صلوات۔ سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے، سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے، اپنی نسلوں کو وفا، اپنی نسلوں کو وفاداری سکھانا چاہیے، سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے، اے خدا جنت کسی محتاج کو کر دے عطا، اے خدا جنت کسی محتاج کو کر دے عطا، مجھ کو جنت، ہاں مجھ کو جنت کی جگہ عاشور کھانا چاہیے، سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے، کوئی ناموں سے رسالت پر اگر حملہ کرے، کوئی ناموں سے رسالت پر اگر حملہ کرے، ایسے مردہ شخص کو زندہ جلانا چاہیے، سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. آدمی کو صاحب ایمان ہونے کے لیے، آدمی کو صاحب ایمان ہونے کے لیے دھوم سے جشن ابو طالب منانا چاہیے. سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. جن کے دل میں جل رہا ہے بغض حیدر کا دیا، جن کے دل میں جل رہا ہے بغض حیدر کا دیا، ان کو قبروں میں نہیں شمشان جانا چاہیے. سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. یہ سبق اکبر دیا ہے ہم کو میثم نے صدا، یہ سبق اکبر دیا ہے ہم کو میثم نے صدا. کچھ بھی ہو جائے عقیدے کو بچانا چاہیے. سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. جو عریض جسم پر لکھتا ہوں میں زنجیر سے، جو عریض جسم پر لکھتا ہوں میں زنجیر سے، فن یہی مولا میری نسلوں میں آنا چاہیے. سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. باپ کی جاگیر پر بیٹے کا حق ہے اس لیے، باپ کی جاگیر پر بیٹے کا حق ہے اس لیے. ایک علم کعبے کی چھت پر بھی لگانا چاہیے. سر در آل محمد پر جھکانا چاہیے. صلوات.
اس کے ساتھ ہی میں آپ لوگوں سے درخواست بھی کرتا ہوں کہ برائے کرم آپ لوگ آگے آگے تشریف لے آئیے اور ذرا تھوڑی صلوات بھی پڑھتے رہیے تاکہ میلاد کا ماحول جو ہے وہ بہتر ہو سکے. اب درخواست کرتا ہوں جناب امتیاز جمال صاحب سے، امتیاز جمال صاحب تشریف لائیے. اس کے بعد جناب جوہر صاحب اور بابر صاحب انشاءاللہ ہیں یہاں پہ، کیونکہ ہم چاہتے ہیں کہ اردو کا پروگرام اپنے مقرر وقت پہ ختم ہو، اس کے بعد انگلش کا پروگرام شروع ہو.
صلوات پڑھیے. ایک دور پھر صلوات. جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے. مومن ہے سرشار علی کے نعرے سے. بوزر کمبر سلمہ میثم سے پوچھو، بوزر کمبر سلمہ میثم سے پوچھو، بوزر کمبر سلمہ میثم سے بنتے ہیں کردار علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے۔ مجھ کو یقین ہے تیرا رجب کو بنتی ہے، مجھ کو یقین تیرا رجب کو بنتی ہے، مجھ کو یقین ہے تیرا رجب کو بنتی ہے۔ کعبے کی دیوار علی کے نعرے سے، بنتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے۔ صلوات پڑھیے۔ فتح گر میدان کوئی بھی کرنا ہو، فتح گر میدان کوئی بھی کرنا ہو، فتح گر میدان کوئی بھی کرنا ہو، دشمن کو للکار علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے۔ کون ہے مومن کون منافق محفل میں، کون ہے مومن کون منافق محفل میں، کون ہے مومن کون منافق محفل میں، کھلتا ہے یہ راز علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے۔ صلوات اللہ۔ برزخ ہو سجاد یا محشر کے لمحے، برزخ ہو سجاد یا محشر کے لمحے، برزخ ہو سجاد یا محشر کے لمحے، ہو جاؤ گے پار علی کے نعرے سے، جلتے ہیں اغیار علی کے نعرے سے۔
ماشاءاللہ اسے جناب امتیاز جمال صاحب، اب درخواست کرتا ہوں جناب اپنے مہمان جناب جوہر رضوی صاحب، جناب جوہر رضوی صاحب، صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد۔
صلوات پڑھیے محمد و آل محمد پر۔ جشن صادقہ علیہ السلام تمام حاضرین کو مبارک ہو۔ انتہائی اختصار کے ساتھ وقت قلیل ہے، پیش کر رہا ہوں بہت کم، کسی اور کی طرز پڑھتا ہوں، لیکن باور بھائی نے بہت اچھی طرز کی بنائی ہے۔ عابد شرف صاحب کا کلام، صلوات پڑھی محمد و آل محمد پر۔ اللہم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ پانچویں فرزند زہرا ہے، خدا کی شان ہے، پانچویں فرزند زہرا ہے، خدا کی شان ہے، نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے، پانچویں فرزند زہرا ہے، خدا خدا کی شان ہے. آپ کے مسلک سے دین مصطفیٰ ہم کو ملا. آپ کے مسلک سے دین مصطفیٰ ہم کو ملا. جعفر صادق تمہارا ہم پہ یہ احسان ہے. جعفر صادق تمہارا ہم پہ یہ احسان ہے. اور نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے. جعفر صادق تمہارا ہم پہ یہ احسان ہے. آپ کے در پر جو آیا علم کا طالب تھا وہ. آپ کے در پر جو آیا علم کا طالب تھا وہ. بن کے عالم در سے نکلا آپ کا فیضان ہے. نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے. جعفر صادق تمہارا ہم پہ یہ احسان ہے. قبلہ شعر دیکھیے. درس گاہ جعفر صادق اگر ہوتی نہیں. درس گاہ جعفر صادق اگر ہوتی نہیں. مدرسہ ہر آج دنیا دیکھتی ویران ہے. مدرسہ ہر آج دنیا دیکھتی ویران ہے. نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے. جعفر صادق تمہارا ہم پہ یہ احسان ہے. وقت سے پہلے آخر شعر. ہے اطاعت ان کی واجب ہر مسلمان کے لیے. ہے اطاعت ان کی ہے اطاعت ان کی واجب ہر مسلمان کے لیے. یہ قرآن پاک میں یہ قرآن پاک میں اللہ کا فرمان ہے. نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے. پانچویں فرزند زہرا ہیں خدا کی شان ہے. مقتدی سماعت. آپ کے در پر ملے جوہر غلامی کا شرف. آپ کے در پر ملے جوہر غلامی کا شرف، مال دنیا چیز کیا ہے، جان بھی قربان ہے، نام ہی سے آپ کے اسلام کی پہچان ہے، پانچویں فرزند زہرا ہیں، خدا کی شان ہے۔ صلوات محمد۔
ماشاءاللہ یہ تھے جناب جوہر عزیز صاحب، اور کلام پیش کر رہے تھے جناب شرف صاحب کا ماشاءاللہ۔ اب درخواست گزار ہوں جناب بابر علی صاحب سے تشریف لائیں نعت محمد مقبول صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم کے لیے، جناب بابر صاحب۔
درود محمد و آل محمد۔ بہت جوہر صاحب آپ نے خوب پڑھا، اور میں ایکسپیکٹ کر رہا تھا کہ امتیاز بھائی وہ نعت پڑھیں گے اس دن والی، تو مگر انہوں نے سیدھا پڑھا۔ بہت اچھی نعت، ایک دفعہ درود پڑھ دیجیے۔ سنو کہ آج مجھے اذن لب کشائی ہے، سنو کہ آج مجھے اذن لب کشائی ہے، حضور شافعِ محشر میری رسائی ہے، میرے زمزم کی موج پلنا ہے، میرے شعور میں تنویر کبریائی ہے۔ درود محمد علیہ نعت احمد سنا رہے ہیں لوگ، خود کو مسلم بتا رہے ہیں لوگ، جس نے ایجاد کی ہے نعت خود نعت رسول، اس کو کافر بتا رہے ہیں لوگ، جس کو بھی محمد کا وسیلہ نہیں ملتا، جس کو بھی محمد کا وسیلہ نہیں ملتا، جنت تو بڑی چیز ہے، رستہ نہیں ملتا، جس کو بھی محمد کا
نسلوں کا لہو مانگتا ہے عشق محمد، نسلوں کا لہو مانگتا ہے عشق محمد، یہ عشق کسی دور میں سستا نہیں ملتا، یہ عشق کسی دور میں. درود و محمد علیہ وآلہ. مولانا شعر دیکھیے. کفار سے سمجھوتا جو کرتے ابو طالب، کفار سے سمجھوتا جو کرتے ابو طالب، احمد کو کوئی پالنے والا نہیں ملتا، احمد کو کوئی پالنے والا نہیں ملتا، یہ آل محمد ہے کہ پوشاک میں جن کی، یہ آل محمد ہے کہ پوشاک میں جن کی، پیولد تو مل جاتے ہیں دھبا نہیں ملتا، یہ آل محمد ہے کہ پوشاک میں جن کی، پیولد تو مل جاتے ہیں دھبا نہیں ملتا، حق فاطمہ زہرا کا اگر لوگ نہ کھاتے، حق فاطمہ زہرا کا اگر لوگ نہ کھاتے، دنیا میں مسلمان کوئی بھوکا نہیں. درود و محمد. حق فاطمہ زہرا کا اگر لوگ نہ کھاتے، دنیا میں مسلمان کوئی بھوکا نہیں ملتا.
شعر دیکھیے، ہماری نعت اہل تشیع کی بڑی ڈیفرنٹ اس لیے ہوتی ہے کہ ہم سرکار کا تعارف دوسرے طریقے سے کرواتے ہیں کہ یہ فاطمہ زہرا ہے اور ان کے والد محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم، یہ امام حسین ہیں اور ان کے نانا ہیں. ہم دوسرے طریقے سے چلتے ہیں اور یہ بھی مولا کی شان ہے. ایک بات درود پڑھی جعفری صاحب شعر دیکھیے. جس روز سے ہے نہر پر عباس کا قبضہ، جس روز سے ہے نہر پہ عباس کا قبضہ، بھوکے تو بہت ملتے ہیں، پیاسا نہیں ملتا. جس روز سے ہے نہر پہ عباس کا قبضہ، بھوکے تو بہت ملتے ہیں، پیاسا نہیں ملتا. آپ اپنے ہی جیسا جو بتاتے ہیں نبی کو، آپ اپنے ہی جیسا جو بتاتے ہیں نبی کو، کیا آپ کے بھی جسم کا سایہ نہیں ملتا. کرتے نا علی کا اگر اپنے مقام پر، شعر دیکھیے. کرتے نا علی کا اگر اپنے مقام پر، حج کرنے کو بھیا تمہیں کعبہ نہیں ملتا. جس کو بھی محمد کا وسیلہ نہیں ملتا، جنت تو بڑی چیز ہے، رستہ نہیں ملتا. جس کو بھی محمد کا درود محمد علیہ وسلم.
ماشاء اللہ جناب بابر علی صاحب صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد. حضرات جس وقت میلاد مصطفیٰ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم میں کنڈکٹ کرتا ہوں اس وقت یہ چار مصرے میرے دماغ میں آتے ہیں کہ میں کہاں اور کہاں مدحت مصطفیٰ، میں کہاں اور کہاں مدحت مصطفیٰ، یہ سعادت مجھے واقعی مل گئی. میں کہاں اور کہاں مدحت مصطفیٰ، یہ سعادت مجھے واقعی مل گئی. بھیجتا ہوں درود و سلام آپ پر، بھیجتا ہوں درود و سلام آپ پر، زندگی کس قدر کام کی مل گئی. صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد. Now I'm requesting Brother Amir to come and please recite Naat. Brother Amir to come, please recite Naat. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sorry, mine will be short. I have the translation by projector. Sorry about that. Shalom. أهلا بمولدك الكريم ومرحبا أهلا بمولدك الكريم ومرحبا يا شمس آل إبراهيم وضحاها أهلا بمولدك الكريم ومرحبا يا شمس آل إبراهيم وضحاها الله خصك للبرية منقذا ونشرت دين الحق في أقصاها أشرقت كالبدر التمام مسبحا لله خالق أرضنا وسماها ونطقت بالتوحيد أول لفظة ونطقت بالتوحيد أول لفظة شكرا لمن وهب الحياة وأعطاها يا خاتما للأطهرين أولي العلا أنوار عرش الله متسواها يا
MashaAllah, Brother Amir, Jazakallah khair. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum, and congratulations to you on the birthday of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam. We are very fortunate today to have with us Hujjatul Islam al-Muslimin, Sheikh Mahdi Muhammad Pur. Sheikh Mahdi is one of the young and inspiring scholars. He studied in Iran, Qom for 9 years, and now he is a student of PhD at Georgetown University. He delivers speeches and lectures throughout the US. So I would like to invite him with your salawat, Sheikh Mahdi Muhammad Pur.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل Believing brothers and sisters, mu'mineen, mu'minat, respected scholars, sadat, seminarians, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I begin by expressing my congratulations to the holy Imam of our time. May Allah hasten his reappearance, and to all of you, brothers and sisters, the lovers of the Holy Prophet, the followers of the Holy Prophet, and that of his purified progeny, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. And what I'd like to do tonight, in the few minutes that I do have, having followed a very charged, energetic, and positive environment, I wanted to share some reflections on the importance and centrality of the notion of unity within the prophetic vision. And I just want, as a caveat, to mention that this is a work in progress, which means that this is an idea that I've been working at and I continue to work on. So forgive me, it's not going to be a polished product. And I present it in this stage because I hope that it will engender some reflection, some questions, some comments, and that we can all, inshallah, contribute in this, the attempt to try and think and contemplate on some of the larger goals, some of the larger objectives that the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his purified progeny are trying to get us to realize and to think about. What I want to do is to start by saying that this discourse of unity, of course, it has a number of different facets and layers pertaining to the issue of intrafaith and interfaith. I think we understand unity at the basic is we're trying to find some middle ground, or we're trying to find some proximity to another, which means that we move outside of ourselves. So within intrafaith, within the Muslim community, and interfaith, other faith communities, it's important to remember that within this Islamic framework, unity, there are a number of different ways that we can approach the issue. I want to clarify what I've done and what we're trying to do collectively together. One layer, one facet is to ask the question of whether Islam prescribes unity at all to begin with. Is there any special attention paid to it? A second layer is to ask the question, with whom does Islam want us to establish unity with? And a third level is, how is it that Islam encourages us to establish or maintain unity? And here I think trying to develop contextual models of establishing or strengthening unity fall within this third layer. I don't necessarily want to get into any of these three. I just want to acknowledge that these questions exist, and they're important questions. So what I don't want to share in my notes and my reflections is a model of how we can engage in unity within the intrafaith or the interfaith context. What I do want to ask us to think about is some of the meta questions, some of the larger questions that permeate each of these layers, which means that if we have answers to these, one question to ask, of course, conceptually is, what is unity? What are we looking to accomplish and achieve when we strive for unity within our community and outside and with other religious communities? Number two, why is unity important? And the third question, which I want to focus on tonight, is what should our attitude be with regards to establishing unity? What I mean by attitude is that what's going through my head, or what is going through our heads collectively when we are attempting to realize this unity? What's the big picture look like? What does the end goal and result look like? What are the expected challenges that are natural to this line of establishing unity? What does it mean to be par for the course? And what are the immoderate now challenges that come? The unusual challenges that come? In thinking about attitude, I want us to try and focus on one of the core missions of the Prophet. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajal farajah, was sent to a group of people that did not welcome him with open arms. As the Quran tells us, messengers of Allah, prophets of God, these individuals generally came to change something about the status quo. They were reformer, they were revolutionists. They came to open the eyes and the ears of the people about something that was wrong or imbalanced about the way that they were living. And because of that, they were generally met with resistance. So the Prophet was met in his community with resistance. What he wanted to get the people to do is to try and adjust, first in their mind and in their soul, and then in their practice and their lifestyle, the pivotal point that allows a person to anchor themselves and have a correct relationship with God. Think of the kalimatain, the shahadatain. These are the fundamental statements and declaration that are made. There's nothing more central than these two issues. That we bear witness that there's no God but God, as they say, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And the second, we declare the prophethood and the messengerhood of the Holy Prophet. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So these two are at the center, at the fore of the prophetic mission. What does unity mean in the context of this? One of the things that I've been struggling to better understand myself, and then also when I go and I share some of my thoughts with communities like this, is that what was it that the Prophet was trying to get us to get at? Which means that, did the Prophet come to his community and tell them, hey, you got it wrong? There's actually not 100 gods or 1,000 gods or 1,000 deities, there's only one God. So repeat with me, there's only one God. And then also, you have to know that God really sent me. I'm not, a snake oil salesman or a showman or anything like that. I'm not a con man, I'm a real messenger of God, so acknowledge that. The Prophet really came in all of this that he did over 23 years, and what has continued for 1400 years was simply the acknowledgement of these two propositional truths. I think maybe we are extending or making a bigger deal out of what the Prophet really wanted to happen. Unity then just becomes for people to bring to the tongue that yes, I acknowledge the fact that there's one God, and I acknowledge the fact that he was a prophet of God. What we understand from this statement, which grants us entry to the world of Islam, is that this is not an end. This is really just a start. When we acknowledge these two statements, we are acknowledging the fact that we want to enter within this framework, this system that allows us to then refine, reform, and better ourselves. So Islam is not just about these propositional truths. It's not just about these creedal statements. I believe this, I hold this, I declare that. These are important parts, but I don't think these are the main or only parts of the religion. Once we declare these statements, the next step is for us to receive them, to understand and to implement what these two words mean, through the divine guidance and through the prophetic instruction and practice. What I want to highlight here is that when we make this statement, by no coercion or no force of another, we are voluntarily deciding that we are going to make a shift, a change in life. We are orienting ourselves towards living life a certain way. So there's no force here. There cannot be force here. Once we do that, what we are attempting to do, and attempting is the important word here, we are attempting to fall in line, receive the divine instruction through the implementation and through the practice of the prophetic model. This is an attempt. I, as a student, I'm trying my best to understand what is it that God has communicated to me and to humanity as a whole through the example and the conduit of the Holy Prophet. I have not received any divine knowledge. I'm trying to approximate myself to that. So when I take for granted the fact that I am attempting, you are attempting, and we are collectively attempting as Muslims and as servants of God, creations of God, to connect with the divine guidance, there has to be an element of humility that comes with it. The Holy Quran tells us in Surah An-Nisa, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَنْ يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولَ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الْهُدَى. A person who defies the apostle, the messenger, after guidance has become manifest and clear to them. وَيَتَّبِعَ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and follows the path other than that of the believing community. نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. We shall abandon that person, that group with their devices, and we shall make them enter hell as their final abode, their natural consequential abode. And such an evil is this destination. So bad is this destination. Which means that we acknowledge not only are we trying to follow and practice the prophetic model, but also the model of the believing community as well. So we don't see these two as disconnected. We have the Prophet, and then we have everyone other than him. These two are supposed to be connected, inseparable. So this is an attempt, not of any school or any Muslim, as I understand it, to try and take the Prophet out of his community and to kind of to draw a division between the Prophet and his community. We are attempting to practice and extend and continue the prophetic model and the model of the Muslim community. It's possible that some of what I'm saying is not really, it's not finding its due place, and the reason because of that is if we try and think about what the potential implications of what we are saying in these verses are, maybe they find utility in other contexts. But I'm trying to speak specifically to the group that's here. One of the questions that people ask is that, okay, if we frame unity, the attempt of trying to receive the Prophet's message and apply it, what does this say about the definitive nature of God's speech and God's communication with us? If you're saying this is an attempt and we can succeed or fail, or we can aspire to come as close as possible, what are we supposed to say about what God has done? Many people say, yes, God has spoken. And God spoke to certain individuals, and those individuals received the message of God and they delivered them. So there was nothing there that was incomplete. There was nothing left there for you and I to do. The Quran speaks about how God communicates with humans in verse 51 of Surah Shura. So one of the concerns people have is that once we open this door of our connection with the Prophet being an attempt to try and manifest that, what do we do about this definitive nature? What I want us to think about is that God's communication is not only circumscribed to when He speaks through prophets. Now please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that God is going to come in a dream and tell you something separate, contradictory, conflicting to the Islamic message. No. The point is that the signs of God are not those that are restricted to the things that you and I may be familiar with. The Quran speaks about the signs of God as being inextinguishable. قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهِ لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَذَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّهِ وَلَوْ جِعْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. Say, if the seas were ink for the words of my Lord, and the seas would be spent before the word of my Lord are finished, and we replenish them again, that would not be enough to finish and extinguish and exhaust the signs of your Lord. Which means that the communication that God has with us and this community and His humanity is not one that is only restricted to a certain time in history. The signs of God are all around us, and hence God is communicating to us this whole time. Which means that if we have collectively agreed that we are trying together to receive the message of the Prophet and practice the sunnah of the Prophet, the Quran then warns us, don't break off into different groups, into different sects. In Surah Al-An'am verse 159, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتُ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. Indeed, those who split up their religion and become sects, Shia. Imagine. لَسْتُ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. There is nothing, you will have nothing to do with them. Addressing to the Prophet. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُمْ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Indeed, the matter rests only with Allah. ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. He will inform you concerning what they used to do. That's one example. Second example in Surah Rum, verses 31 and 32. وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Don't be amongst those who practice shirk. مِنَ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا. These are the people who split up their religion and they become groups and sects. كُلُّ حِزْبٍ بِمَا لَدَيْهِمْ فَرِحُونَ. Each of these groups now becomes boastful about what they possess. So the Quran is telling us that there's a danger of breaking up into these different groups. And each of these groups standing in a position of saying, we figured it out. We know what the truth is. We have the magic formula. And everyone else is what? Doomed, deviated, lost, misguided. Think in the context of interfaith. Like if you want to do interfaith or intrafaith, what generally happens? Come my brother, come my sister. Again, I'm not trying to diminish or downplay. These are important first steps. But the point is that, do we come and sit at the table with a sense of humility of, well, you know, there's still more to learn and more to grow, or I'm right here, I already know you're wrong, but I just want to be accommodating to you. Right? Imagine if every group thought that way. Of course we're going to go in circles and circles and circles and circles, because everyone thinks like that. So the Quran says there's going to be ikhtilaf, but there's ikhtilaf that's damaging and there's ikhtilaf that can maybe be helpful. These are the damaging and destructive ones. One is in Surah Baqarah. كَانَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. People were a united nation. And the Prophet says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ النَّبِيِّينَ مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ وَأَنزَلَ مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ فِيمَا اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ. So Allah says, I sent my messengers, I sent my guides, and I sent them kitab, I sent them books, so they can judge between the issues of ikhtilaf between the people. وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ فِيهِ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوهُ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُم. After this happened, the only group that did ikhtilaf, after these prophets and messengers came and cleared the air, clarified the issues, judged on the issues of right and wrong, only those who practiced baghyan bainahum. That means they were envious. Only because of the reason of envy they started to do ikhtilaf. Okay. This is one. There's another ikhtilaf that comes in Baqarah 2:53. تِلْكَ الرُّسُلُ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ مِنْهُمْ مَنْ كَلَّمَ اللَّهُ. These are the apostles, some of we gave advantage over others. There were a group of them who spoke what Allah spoke. وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَهُمْ دَرَجَاتٍ. Some of them we elevated in position. وَآتَيْنَا عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَيَّدْنَاهُ بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. We gave Jesus, the son of Mary, manifest fruits and strengthened him with the Ruh al-Qudus. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا اقْتَتَلَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ وَلَكِنْ اخْتَلَفُوا فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ آمَنَ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ كَفَرَ. Allah says that if we wanted to, He would have succeeded them and they would have not fought with one another after the manifest proof had sent. But they differed. Some of them believed, some of them practiced iman, some of them practiced kufr. They denied. I think it's very convenient for us to read these verses and say, yeah, this is what it's talking about, what happened in the past. You know, we already know. Some people believed and some people didn't believe. We're the continuation of the group that believes. That's why we're mu'mineen. But that's more or less to say that this Quran is only speaking about some people and some events in the past. So the ikhtilaf that happens, there's an ikhtilaf that the response can be a takfir, a kufr. Kufr means you deny a truth, a reality that exists. Baghi also means because of the envy that exists. So I ask myself and I ask us to think about it. In the efforts that we have in trying to establish unity, is the other party that's not like me, that I think they have to work on themselves and grow, is it because they have baghi in their heart? They're envious? There's something wrong? That means they're diseased? There's an illness that they have and because of that we're not able to establish unity? Is it because they've done kufr and I've done iman? This is what the Quran speaks about when it speaks in terms of ikhtilaf. So putting some of this on the table gets us to think about what are the underlying reasons for why we are not making the progress we should be making when it comes to approximating intra and interfaith. I think if we're not careful, we start thinking about these ideas in very simple binaries, right and wrong. I'm of course not wrong, so I must be right. Thank you. So this serves as kind of the foundation of trying to revisit this idea of the vision of prophetic unity. I think what the Quran instructs the Prophet and the believing community, and what the Prophet wants to establish in his own character, is not one who marginalizes or discriminates or pushes people away. The Prophet had plenty of examples and plenty of opportunities to push the people away. He came to them not asking for anything. How did they respond to him? They called him all sorts of names. The Quran is full of this. Sahir, Majnoon, what are all these things? You're crazy. He could have just walked away. Well, these people are obviously not. They don't want to listen to this. Imagine if you want to do interfaith, I want to do interfaith, and the person called me, you're crazy. You're a crazy person. You're a crazy, devious person. Obviously, I'm not going to go there anymore. Didn't have the basic respect to at least tell me, respect me for who I am. I'm the rightly guided one. What is this crazy talk? They physically assaulted the Prophet. They destroyed his image. They backbited. All those things happened. What was the Prophet's response? The Holy Prophet was still welcoming to these people. The Prophet's character was a character of being open to people, welcoming to people. He worked with the people. So he worked within a context of people that were not receptive to his message, but he practiced the patience and the perseverance that was needed for humans to make this shift from moving out of these habits that they had to see the truth in the message that he brought. So the Prophet accounted for the human element in getting people to change the way that they think and change the way that they act. So this is one thing to remember. In Surah Hashr, this is one of the du'as that the believing community makes. وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. And for those who came after, they say, O our Lord, forgive us and our brethren who were the forerunners in faith, and do not put any ghil, rancor, in our hearts towards the faithful. O Lord, indeed you are the most kind and the most merciful. Again, I ask, I'm not imposing this on anyone. I'm not saying that this is an observation that I've had, but I'm just asking all of us to be frank. What is the attitude in our hearts that we have to other believing men and women that may belong to other faiths or may belong to other groups or sects or denominations or fiqhs or whatever? If it's one of rancor, ghil, poor misguided people, I hate them. I go to people, I go places, I don't understand where this mentality comes from. People come and say, I can't sit in the same room with this person of this, for example, school of thought. What kind of a talk is that? So this idea of being not just tolerant, but being welcoming to people, and being welcoming and working with maybe some of the deficiencies that they have, that they're works in progress. Let me share an example from the life of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam as well. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. One day the Holy Imam sent one of his workers by the name of Sarraj to go and to do something for him in a different city. Sarraj goes and he does it and he comes back, and once he's back and he's sitting in his house, he's a little upset. So he's upset, he's laying on his bed, and the Holy Imam comes. The Imam comes and he asks him, okay, Sarraj, what happened? I sent you for something. He said, I responded to him. While they were talking, he says, ثُمَّ جَرَى ذِكْرُ قَوْمٍ. As we were conversing, the name of a type of group of people came up, a specific group of people came up. فَقُلْتُ جُعِلْتُ فِدَاكَ. I said, Sarraj is saying, I said to the Imam, may I be sacrificed for you? إِنَّا نَبْرَأُ مِنْهُمْ. We distance and disassociate ourselves from them. إِنَّهُمْ لَا يَقُولُونَ مَا نَقُولُ. They don't say the things that we say. قَالَ فَقَالَ يَتَوَلَّوْنَا وَلَا يَقُولُونَ مَا تَقُولُونَ تَبْرَؤُونَ مِنْهُمْ. He says, okay, the Imam asks him a question. If they were befriending us, that means they were our friends, they believed in the general principles of what we believe in. But they also don't say the things that we say. Would you disassociate yourself from them? قَالَ نَعَمْ. Sarraj said, yes, of course. They believe in different things. They say different things. قَالَ فَهُوَ ذَا عِنْدَنَا مَا لَيْسَ عِنْدَكُمْ فَيَنْبَغِي لَنَا أَن نَبْرَأَ مِنْكُمْ. The Imam said, okay, there are things that we say, I say that you don't say, Sarraj, my follower, right? Should I disassociate myself from you? قَالَ قُلْتُ لَا جَعَلْتُ فِدَاكَ. I said, no, please don't. قال وهو ذا عند الله ما ليس عندنا أفتراه اطرحنا. There's also things in God's presence that is not with us. Should God disassociate himself from us? Again, Sarraj says, no, of course not. قال قلت لا والله جعلت فداك ما نفعل. What should we do then? Then the Imam begins to explain to him, Sarraj, Iman, belief, conviction, whatever you want to call it. These are different levels and they exist at different layers. There's a group of people that are at the first level of Iman. First level, whatever the basic is, whatever the minimum is. They believe in those things and they act on those things. You have a person that's on the second level, all the way to the 7th level. Then the Imam tells him, is it correct for the person who's at a higher level of Iman to expect the person who's lower than him and hold him to those same standards? I am at the level 5 of Iman. I get up every night and do my night prayers. If I look to my brother right here and he's barely making it to do his 5 daily prayers, should I look down at him condescendingly and say, look at you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Oh, the way you think about this issue is so, so basic, so immature, so undeveloped. You look at it so superficially. You haven't got to the kernel of the issue here. Should I disassociate myself from you? Maybe or maybe not this is happening within our own kind of relationships, but thinking about now other groups and other faiths and other interpretations of the religion and other religions, this is a very common scene. This guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. So I disassociate from them. What do I have to do with them? Imam says this is problematic. Don't do this. And then he tells a story that I think we've all heard this story before. There was a Muslim man who had a Christian neighbor. And he went to his Christian neighbor and he kind of, encouraged him to become Muslim. We have this great faith, come and all this. So the Christian man became Muslim, right? You've heard the story. Early in the morning, before Fajr time, he comes and knocks on the door and he says, come on. He says, what are we doing? So you got to, make wudu. It's time to go and do salat in the masjid. So he does this, and you've heard the story. I don't want to repeat it because we're short on time. But when the next day comes, because the whole day he was spent in worship, and this man was fatiguing him. He was exhausting him. The next morning came, the Muslim man came to his newly Muslim neighbor, and he knocked on the door, and he said, come on, let's go again. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't come anymore. Find someone for this religion who has more free time than I have. I'm a poor man and I have dependents. I don't have time day and night to spend in the masjid to do the things that you do. فقال أبو عبد الله أدخله في شيء أخرجه منه. This same person who made him enter into this thing, he also was a reason for him to exit as well. So this idea of different levels of Iman, this is not just about, spirituality and spiritual accomplishment. Even in thinking about it in the terms of how much this person has understood of the religion, having the humility there to acknowledge, maybe this person is at a lower level of comprehension and understanding. Maybe this person does not see things the way that I've seen things. Maybe this person has not inherited the history that I've inherited as far as what, the history of Islam was. Maybe they haven't. What should my conduct be towards that person then? If I'm just going to disassociate and say, well, these are misguided, what can I do? If they were going to learn and come to the right path, they would have done so by now. I think this is being a little, it's unfair and it's dismissive. And when the entirety of the Muslim community starts thinking this way, this is how we start acting with one another. And hence unity doesn't really become an important issue. It becomes a side issue. It kind of becomes a formality. It becomes something that we just have to do to say that we've done it. So the Holy Prophet is a person whose character really, he cares for his people. In Surah Tawbah, this is verses that we've heard over and over again. Verse 128. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Indeed, a prophet, a messenger came to you amongst yourselves. عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِتُّمْ. He is grievous over your distresses. That means he cares about what happens to you. If you're happy, he's happy. If you're unhappy, he's unhappy. If things are difficult for you, it's difficult for him. If things are easy for you, it's easy for him. حَرِيسٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. He has deep concern for you, and he is most kind and merciful to the faithful. So, to try and conclude now in thinking about some of these reflections about the importance of unity. Number one, when it comes to thought and thinking, creedal statements, aqeedah, whatever, even fiqh, the things that we have tried to receive the tradition that has come and work with it in attempting to try and best manifest what it means to practice and continue practicing the prophetic sunnah. We have to be open to the fact that, yes, we are making attempts to do that. Maybe our attempt is better situated. Maybe our attempt is more successful, fine. But at least if we acknowledge the fact of humility, we're open for dialogue with other people, not only to teach them, but also to learn from them. And the humility really has to be the first thing that a person observes. Otherwise, if it comes from a place of, well, I'm better than you, superiority, that's not going to be very effective. Number two, when it comes to practice as well, this is not something we have time to get into, but it's something to think about. Unity is not just about groups of people getting together and deciding to write up some statement of we believe this, we don't believe that. It also comes with the tolerance and the mudarat, as we call, meeting people halfway, if I'm paraphrasing. Meeting people halfway. From the Holy Prophet, he says, Amarani Rabbi bimudarat nas. I have been commanded to work with the people. Kama amarani bi'ada al-farad. Just as the same way that I have been commanded to performing the obligatory acts. Working with the people. Which means that even unity in practice means this. If a person has some struggle in his life that he can't exhibit the same level of religious practice that you can, unity means to have a space for that individual, which means to be welcoming to that individual, not to be discriminatory against that individual and say, we are at this level of iman. If you're at this level of iman, then join us. Otherwise, you go find out whatever your group or whatever your circle is. It's not mudarat. So in practice as well, having this mudarat, so much, even mudarat, not only in social relationships, even mudarat in sinning. The Prophet had this mudarat, had this meeting the people halfway. Where are you in your life? What are you trying to accomplish? I'll work with you. Now maybe I don't have the authority to do that. You may not have the authority to do that. But the fact that we're trying to meet people where they are and work with people, that's really what's going to encourage us to believe and establish the trust that we have with one another. These are some of the things that I've observed and some of the things that I've reflected on in trying to better understand what the future of unity looks like. It's needed. It's really needed. That means if we continue on the course that we have gone historically for a very long time, we haven't seen much progress being made there. I know we have aspirations of, we're right and, time will tell that we are right. Fine, no problem. But I don't think that was the prophetic model and the prophetic vision for people to just say we were correct from the beginning and, when the day comes, everyone will know. That's the kind of talk that the Quran censures. There are groups of the Israelites and the groups of the Christians that they spoke like that. So we are the right ones and they are completely wrong. And the other would say the exact opposite. We are the right ones and they are wrong. So in thinking of how to best, I think, revive this idea of unity, the birth commemoration, the birth anniversary of the Holy Prophet is traditionally, it's traditionally seen as an opportune occasion to try and sit down with not only people amongst our own, whatever sect or belief, but also extend that invitation to others as well, because these are the uniting characters and individuals. We all believe in the character and the central position of the Holy Prophet. Let us come and discuss our attempts to better understand what it means to follow his sunnah. And same thing with Imam Salih alayhi salatu. He's a revered and cherished figure for all Muslims. He's not a sectarian individual. He's not one that belongs to one group and doesn't belong to another group. These are things to think about. Like I said, I'm sorry, it's a work in progress, but I think if we at least contemplate on what it means to practice humility, to be humble, and also to be open to meet people where they are, I think we can make great strides and we can make great progress that perhaps in the past has been absent. Inshallah, with the dua, with the guidance and with the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the right of this night that He bless us to open our minds and open our hearts and to open our arms, to extend the arm and extend the invitation of brotherhood and sisterhood, not only for all Muslims, but also all of those who acknowledge their servitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Brother Mahdi, for providing a very good insight into how we can coexist and give that respect to other communities, whether it's our communities within religion or outside the religion. I think it's a very beautiful approach to talk to somebody in keeping that in mind, saying I'm gonna meet with that person where they are instead of thinking that we are already on the right path, so we don't need to talk to them. Please recite a salawat. So now I would like to invite Brother Maulana Hujjatul Islam al-Muslimin, Agha Sulaiman Hassan Abdi, to recite a lecture today. Please recite salawat.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And a very heartfelt Eid Mubarak to all of you on this day when we are celebrating the anniversary of the birth of two of the shining stars in the sky of guidance, our beloved Prophet Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and our beloved sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Before beginning, I would like to request all of you to remember in your du'as Marhuma Nigat Begum, daughter of Mirza Asghar Beg. She passed away 1 year ago today. So it's the 1 year anniversary of her passing. And this is, mashallah, the best gift that family can give to a loved one. All of our prayers, our presence, what we learned, and what we heard from our reciters, all of these are like little pearls, inshallah, that will be presented to Marhuma for her thawab and for her high rank in the hereafter, and for all your own marhumin. Please recite Surah Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. I would like to, in particular, thank all of our reciters of poetry. It was very inspiring. Our young reciters, Munib and Asad, and then our experienced reciters as well. I do want to apologize that we had a very short time to benefit from all of you, but I will make a deal with you. Now, honestly, if it were up to me, then each of our poets and our reciters should have a half hour. Because if you look at this rich literature of religious poetry in Islam, then the effort that comes into the preparation and the presentation of that poetry is no less than a very learned lecture of Islam. And this is actually the effort of the best of our poetic literature, that it was derived from the scholarship of ulama, and often it was presented to ulama for corrections, for emendations, and for comments. And so it represents not just the efforts of one individual, but the collective wisdom and the collective devotion of an entire civilization. However, because we have limited time, we have families, they want to be able to count on our time, and today we were only 15 minutes late. For us, that's good. But inshallah, we're going to improve. Next time, inshallah, we'll be less than 10 minutes behind schedule. And inshallah, after that, we will be on the dot. This was the practice of the Prophet. So don't say that, well, why are you being that strict? We're not going to be strict. We're not going to ever pull anybody off the stage. And although I did note some of our poets, they went over, but we're not going to call anybody out. The point, though, is that this is a forum for everybody, and I will discipline myself before anybody else. So the deal I will make is, if we did request our poets to be brief, even though that was not my preference, but it was a necessity, I will also shorten my remarks, we were scheduled for 35 minutes, I will end within 25 minutes. But I will give you homework, because one of the things that I will be talking about is the second dua of Sahifa Sajjadiyya. And I think it was Brother Munib, you recited Zaban par pehle durood o salam aata hai, phir uske baad Muhammad ka naam aata hai. That is exactly the Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. That is exactly the order of Sahifa Sajjadiyya. The first dua is durood o salam. And then the second dua is Muhammad ka naam. It's the order of Sahifa Sajjadiyya. So second dua, inshallah, all of you will recite that, or if you are a little bit less energetic, then find it on YouTube and listen to it. You don't have to even put the effort of reading it. But please do that, because that is what I would like us to benefit from. And the reason is this. There's a question that many people have. Can you know Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alih? Or can you know Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam? Sheikh Mahdi is a scholar. Don't be fooled that he doesn't wear the turban. That's just his humility. Otherwise, he is, mashallah, very learned alim and scholar. When you go to the scholarly community in academia and you ask a historian, is it possible to know the Prophet? And the same thing is about Imam Ja'far Sadiq. They will often say, well, you know what, we don't have a lot of evidence. The newspapers from the time of the Prophet, we don't find them. They call it documentary evidence or contemporary evidence. It doesn't exist. The history was written 150 years later. Many of you know that this was prevented in the early generations for various reasons. And the quality of writing materials people had was very low as well. So they say, you cannot know the Prophet, because you don't have a lot of details that can be established without doubt. A similar issue exists within academic scholarship about our sixth Imam. Because our sixth Imam and our other Imams, they were under the surveillance of not just the governments, but you can call it sometimes the general community of people who were somewhat antagonistic to the idea of wasiyah and imamat. And so even though the Umayyad government had fallen and the Abbasid government was weak in the time of Imam Sadiq, the mob was still very strong. And I don't use that mob in a negative way. One of the authors of As-Sihah Sitta, An-Nasa'i, he was killed because he wrote a book in praise of Imam Ali al-Khasa'is. This is not a Shia scholar, it's a Sunni scholar, the author of one of the Sihah Sitta, Sunan al-Nasa'i. And he wrote a book because he saw there were people in Damascus who said bad things about Imam Ali, so he said, let me tell you what Imam Ali was. He wrote a book called Khasa'is Amir al-Mu'mineen. And people, this was the mob, all Muslims, who said, we're going to kill you for it. So this was not just something that Imam Ja'far Sadiq suffered, even ulama who were members of Ahlul Sunnah. You've all heard the scholar At-Tabari, Mufassir, Faqih, Mu'arrikh, historian, scholar of Quran, scholar of fiqh. He also in his book says that I want to write something, I'm not going to write it, because he lived in Baghdad. And Baghdad was a city, then as today, where you have to be very careful of the mob. So this was a reality that scholars and even our imams, they had to deal with. Imam Ja'far Sadiq, to be effective, he had to do mudarat, as Sheikh Mahdi said, and taqiyya. What does that mean? It means that sometimes the imam would speak in a complex way. And then when academic scholars, they come to that, they often say that, well, the imam has praised these companions whom you consider to be his most important companions, whom we narrate thousands of hadith from, and then our du'as, our beliefs, our fiqh, they come from those companions. But then those same imams have said that we have nothing to do with them. Why? Because the imams had to protect them and had to protect themselves. So they say we can't know. The history is contradictory. How can you know the Prophet? How can you know our sixth Imam when you have this real historical problem? In many cases, the reason that people have the issue is because they think that to know somebody, you have to know details of their life. The primary means of knowing is what happened. So I need a biography. But the primary way that you know someone is not to know the what of their life. It is to know the why of their life. So let's say, for example, that I see you in the street and I rush to you and I violently tackle you to the ground and push you to a side. That's the what. That's what the camera will capture. That's what history will record. I might have seen that there was a car coming and I was risking my own life to save your life as a profound act of sacrifice, or I might have been a criminal trying to harm you and attack you. How do you know which is which? The what or the why? You have to know the why, not the what. You need to know enough facts to be able to understand the why, but they're two different questions. And where just historical scholarship falls short is that it can help you with the what, but you need another type of scholarship to know why. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa gathered the energies of thousands of people, brought them together with a religion, with belief, with a military strength. And Abu Sufyan sees it, and he says that, "O Abbas, your nephew has a mighty kingdom that Arabia has never seen." And Abbas replies, "Wayhak innaha an-nubuwah." You are looking and you are seeing a kingdom because you are a materialist. I am looking and I am seeing prophethood and the mercy and the beauty of God's message because I am seeing the same what, but I understand why. The Prophet was not motivated by a large kingdom or territory. So Muslims should not take pride in futuhat and conquests, because the Prophet was not a conqueror of physical territory. The Prophet was a conqueror of hearts. And we also then should celebrate whether people were inspired to understand Islam through the message of the Prophet. Those caliphs who expanded territory but didn't deepen the understanding of Islam are not the heirs of the Prophet. Those who deepened our understanding of Islam, or I should say the one who deepened the understanding of Islam, is worthy of the name of a Khalifa. Although the Islamic border didn't expand in the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, the borders of people's understanding of Islam expanded. And that is why the Khulafa of the Prophet are those who succeeded Imam Ali, even if they never ruled territory at all. Not those who were in the castles and commanded the armies. And that is why if you want to understand the Prophet, then you turn to Sahifa Sajjadiyah. That second dua does not tell you facts, but it tells you why did the Prophet do what he did. if you understand Sahifa Sajjadiya's introduction to the Prophet, then you will understand the Prophet better than somebody who has memorized all of the dates and the history of the Prophet. Meaning, if I know 1,000 facts about the Prophet's life, relationship between Mecca and Yemen and Syria, and the trade and the climate and the tribes and the dates and the genealogy and the family history, I know all of those things. But I don't know how Ahlul Bayt introduced the Prophet. And you don't know whether the Prophet lived 500 years ago or 5,000 years ago. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not much. But you know how Imam Zainul Abidin introduced the Prophet. Then, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You know the Prophet. I don't know the Prophet. Can you know the Prophet? Yes. But you have to connect to not the what of the Prophet's life, but the why of the Prophet's life. You do that through the what, but it's a different question. And therefore, you don't need all of the facts. You need enough facts to know how to live. You know enough to be able to be inspired and to be guided. That applies to our Prophet. That applies to our sixth Imam. Many of us, we take pride. Our Prophet was so great. Our Imam was so great. Abu Hanifa was his student. Imam Malik was his student. And then Shafi'i was the student of Imam Malik. And Ahmad ibn Hanbal was the student of Shafi'i in a sense. So all of the four madhahib of the Sunni world are derived from our Imam. Wonderful. But the real question is, how long can you and I sustain a friendship with a follower of Abu Hanifa or Imam Malik or Imam Shafi'i or Ahmad ibn Hanbal? And if I get sick and I say, I just have to do this public tabarra, jo man mein aata hai mujhe kehna padta hai. I just need to express myself. Maybe it'll offend them, that's their problem. But I can't stop myself. Then I don't have a right to take pride in Imam Ja'far Sadiq. Because Abu Hanifa, after spending time with him, said, Lawla sanatan lahalaka an-Nu'man. Imam Malik, after spending time with Imam Ja'far Sadiq, said, he used to show me so much love that my own teachers did not used to show me, and my other elders in Medina did not show me. When I would visit him, he would treat me as if I was the most important person in Medina in his presence. Imam Malik was 30 years younger than Imam Ja'far Sadiq and a student. And Imam Ja'far Sadiq did not owe him any kind of special respect, neither according to the standard of knowledge, nor according to the standard of custom and seniority and age, let alone imamate. So if I am not like that, and I get sick of a non-Muslim or a non-Shi'i after a few days, or I make them sick of me because of my sectarianism, then I don't have a right to take pride in Imam Ja'far Sadiq. Sometimes people say that why did the Prophet keep so-and-so close to him when they were munafiq? That's not the question. The question is, if I am a follower of a Prophet and he was able to use the energies even of the munafiqeen for a good cause, although there were some who were enemies and they never came and made peace with the Prophet. Everybody does not come. But at least the Prophet brought even those who were not sincere and made them a little bit better than they otherwise would have been. The question is not why did he do that? The question is why am I not willing to do that? And say, I can't compromise. I'm just going to say what I feel, what's in my mind and in my heart. I think this is a continuation of the very eloquent points that Shaykh Mahdi introduced. So this is our goal. That when we talk about the Prophet, when we talk about our Imams, we have to say that they did things according to a certain wisdom. They had a why. Why did they do things? that made a certain effect in society. We have to be like that. So let me quickly turn to the second dua of Sahifa Sajadiyah. I know that I have just 3 minutes. I didn't get an exact time, but about 3 minutes or 4 minutes left, and I want to keep my promise. So the dua that Imam Zainul Abidin introduces the Prophet very beautifully. He says that the Prophet, Allahumma fasalli ala Muhammadin aminika ala wahyik. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He was your trusted one over your revelation. You trusted him with your revelation. It wasn't just that the Prophet conveyed a text. The Prophet was an Amin. He was the repository. He was the one who represented the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just conveyed the text. وَنَجِيبِكَ مِنْ خَلْقِكَ وَصَفِيِّكَ مِنْ عِبَادِكَ إِمَامِ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقَائِدِ الْخَيْرِ. He was the Imam, who was the role model even for our Imams. He was Imamur Rahmah, the Imam of mercy. That was what the Prophet was. And I want to just make this point that every milestone in the Prophet's life, there's a different aspect that we can remember from it. So when you celebrate Bi'tha, when the Prophet was delegated as a prophet, then the lesson you learn from that is the specific message of Islam which the Prophet brought, represented in his revelation and his teachings. When you commemorate Laylatul Qadr, then it is the text of the Quran the Prophet brought, a part of his message. It comes under Bi'tha, because part of the message of the Prophet was the Quran. When you remember the death of the Prophet, then you are remembering how to grieve. Imam Ali has a khutbah in which he says to the Prophet, as he's burying Lady Fatima, it's narrated by Imam Hussein, who was the son of Lady Fatima. He was one of those mourners learning from his father Imam Ali how to mourn as a Muslim. Imam Ali, after he buries Lady Fatima, Imam Hussein says that the Imam turned to the Prophet and he said that وَلَكَ فِي رَسُولِ وَلَكَ إِنَّ فِيكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَحْسَنُ الْعَزَاءِ. This is the end of that khutbah. That, O Messenger, in you we find the only and the best consolation. If it weren't for the fact that you died, then I would not be able to bear the death of Lady Fatima. So, there is a message how to grieve and how to process loss that we remember when we remember the death of the Prophet. So every milestone in the Prophet's life is something to remember. The birth of the Prophet is for us to remember that his existence is mercy. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Prophet is Imamur Rahmah. He is the Imam of Rahmah. So that is just one of the titles that Imam Zainul Abidin gives to our Prophet in Sahifa Sajadiyah. Please do look at that dua, and this is one of the ways that you can honor and I can honor the Prophet, to learn from the Imam. You won't get details in history, but the du'as of Ahlul Bayt, these remind us of why the Prophet did what he did. What was it that defined the mission of the Prophet? And let us remember that one of the messages of the Prophet was that if you follow my religion, then you are going to be now responsible for that message of mercy to humanity. I might not convert the world, but if there are people who are suffering because of gambling in society, if there are people who are suffering because of drugs in this society, if there are people who are suffering because of the breakdown of the family in this society, you and I as a Muslim have a responsibility. Our share of the rahmah of the Prophet is to help them make their lives better. If Allah guides them to Islam, alhamdulillah. If He guides them to Islam through us, then there is no greater benefit than that. As Imam Ali says, that the Prophet told me that لأن يهدي بك الله رجلا واحدا خير مما طلعت عليه الشمس. If God guides through you a single person, that's better than everything that is under the sun. But if that doesn't happen and I can help somebody live a little bit better life, then that is one ray of light from the mercy of the Prophet. So when we remember the birth of the Prophet, let us try to be that ray. Each and every one of us. Which means we need to see each other more and more frequently, come together, and then see how it is possible for us to learn about the Prophet and then convey what we learn about the Prophet outside, to our families, to our community, to our society, to provide some benefit. Even if it is not the full message, but anybody who learns any part of the message of the Prophet has a part of God's mercy that has entered into their heart. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes our Eid for us to be Muhammadi, for us to be Ja'fari, for us to be followers of Ahlul Bayt, and for us to be among those who will represent their values in our lives and will be able to bring those values to the forefront, to the front of society, and implement them under the guidance and under the banner of the Imam of our time. I would like to once again thank all of you for your participation, and I hope that we will continue, inshallah, to come together, to speak, to think, to act about how to represent the mercy of the Prophet, not just in our majalis, but from this majalis throughout the rest of our lives. Jazakumullah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will conclude the program with ziyarat. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام على علي أمير المؤمنين السلام على فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين السلام على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين السلام على علي بن الحسين زين العابدين السلام على محمد بن علي باقر علم النبيين السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا السلام على محمد بن علي الجواد السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي السلام على الحسن بن علي الزكي العسكري السلام على الحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين